जयपुर वाया कोटा।
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೆಗೆ
Hyderabad Bhattacharjya Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন. कृपया ध्यान दियो.
The Royal Rumble has a winner. Rajasthan end their winless streak and RCB end their dream run because Rajasthan have won. They'll be going to the Chepauk in their dreams of winning their second IPL. Lots of drama because one thought that this would be pretty one-sided. But it's RCB. It can never be one-sided. We saw what Virat did in the field. We saw what the bowlers did. They kept losing the wickets. But Rajasthan managed to win this with 4 wickets in hand. Jaiswal 45, Riyan Parag a crucial knock of 36. Siraj got those 2 wickets in that over when we thought this could go anywhere. We're back at Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami Kher and I have Michael and Joyda in the house. That was a game where those knots I was talking about, my maths exam, those knots came back because this was just going here, then it was going there, then it was going here. But finally, Rajasthan got the win.
Nothing compared to the knots in the field, in the players, because they both played really scared cricket. You know what I mean? Neither side was sort of taking the bull by the horns and completing the game. The batting, RCB batting, didn't have a great performance. But then you see the RR batting as well, and they just couldn't get going. Every time you thought they've now got the game firmly by its throat, they let go. Somebody gets out. Sanju Samson has a rush of blood. Riyan Parag gets out. Just when you think it's settled, Hetmyer gets out. So they kept giving chances for the Royals. I shouldn't say Royals today. For RCB to come back into the game. And finally, they just got across the line. Rovman Powell held his nerve, thankfully, and finished it off.
But Michael, we spoke about this in the comm box. You cannot drop those catches on this big day. He was at 3 when Jaiswal was dropped. He went on to make 45. And then there was another dropped catch. So you can't drop those catches on such a big day.
Yeah, and the 2 drops were from 2 Australians. Cameron Green, who's got probably the biggest hands that I've ever seen, doesn't drop a ball. And then Glenn Maxwell, who's just had a bad night, with the bat and then in the field. Very unlike Glenn Maxwell, very unlike Cameron Green, but that's what happens when you have a consequence in a cricket match, when you know that the pressure's on and you have to perform on that given 5-hour, 6-hour period. And I always love sport when it gets to this stage because you can see even the Rajasthan on a given day 2 or 3 weeks ago chasing 170 on that pitch at that venue. When you know you've got 3 or 4 more games to play, you stroll that match.
Yes.
But when you know you have to win, or you start to get a few jitters. Brilliant catch at the end from Faf. Shimron Hetmyer looked like he was just going to see the game through. You could see the reaction from the dugout with that shot, that they were disappointed that he didn't just knock it around. Brilliant game of cricket because it had ebbs and flows and there was moments of pressure from both sides. But Rajasthan's bowling, really, that's been the difference. They were outstanding. And I actually don't think the pitch changed a great deal. I didn't feel, I'm sure there was a bit of dew, but it didn't feel as bad as it was last night. I think it was quite a fair contest in terms of the pitch that they batted on. But bowlers win the tournaments. Batters win you the odd match, quite a few matches. But that bowling attack for Rajasthan, they stepped up tonight.
They stepped up, and the interesting point you made is that it didn't look like either of the team were holding the horns of the bull. And when Virat Kohli got that run out, it almost felt like Rajasthan went on the defensive, but Riyan Parag stood up, and the 36 runs were very crucial at that point.
Crucial. I think he played, till he got out, I think he played both. I think interesting, the 2 youngest players, if you see of that lineup, Riyan Parag and Yashasvi Jaiswal, both played with great responsibility. They knew this was not a day to hit big sixes. This is a day to shepherd your team through. The total's not that much. You play sensible cricket, you can make it through. And I think he played really sensible cricket, smart, sensible percentage cricket until he unfortunately just chose the wrong ball to try and hit. And that was it. But that's what it did. Riyan Parag has been the rock for them. And I think one of the reasons, it's one of the other things that they'll be really happy with is the fact that Hetmyer has come back.
Yes.
Donovan Ferreira, they've tried Nandre Berger, as a substitute. But having Hetmyer there, it just makes so much of a difference to that team. It's unbelievable. And even today, 26 of 14, it's a crucial knock under the circumstances.
Those 26 runs, again, the time that it came in was very, very important. Sanju Samson unfortunately went to step up and he got out stumped. It was a key wicket. Then Riyan Parag got those 36. Hetmyer and of course having Rovman Powell there as well, who played very responsibly because it got pretty nerve-wracking towards the end.
It got nippy. There was an over actually, I think it was a Cameron Green over, that kind of just changed the course of the nervousness. You know, Hetmyer hit one into the stand. Parag hit a beautiful shot over extra cover and then he just deflected one down to third. And I thought that was done and dusted. All right, Hetmyer gets out and there's a bit of a panic and then Rovman just glides a couple of poor deliveries actually from Lockie Ferguson, just exactly where you want it. You've got two men up at third and he bowls it. Well, thank you very much, I'll take that. So yeah, I think on the night, the RCB team will know that they just haven't produced what they've been producing in the last 6 games. They had an off night with the bat. They looked a little bit nervous with the bat, up against some real quality bowling. And in the field, to defend that total, everything had to stick. All those chances had to go into the middle of the hand. They dropped 2 catches and weren't quite alive, apart from Virat in the field. I'll give Faf a mention as well, but as a whole collective, the RCB team didn't feel well enough.
Well, RCB has now become an adult. They'll have to wait for their 18th year. And it's really heartbreaking because we've seen it. This would have been the biggest, the most celebrated comeback in sporting history if they'd managed to go on forward. What they've done so far has been a great comeback, and we know how badly they wanted it. We saw those visuals of Faf looking at that trophy. We've seen how much Virat wants it, and all the RCB fans, you know, we all know how long they've waited for this.
I mean, you know the distance between Ahmedabad and Bangalore, and you should have Bengaluru, and you should have seen the number of red and blue shirts that were there. And the other thing I remember halfway through, after Virat got that run out, firstly the effort in the run out, the way he ran up, the throw, bang on. Cameron Green nearly made a mess of it between his hands, those huge mid hands of his, but he managed to get the run out. And then the next thing Virat does is he goes up and says, you know, telling the crowd, get behind us, get behind us. You've just got a wicket, get behind us. And you can hear the whole crowd roaring. So look, he did his best. He did whatever he could to raise that crowd, to lift them, to get them behind him. On the day, it just wasn't enough. And I think the rest of the field didn't support him as much. I
mean, both those, 18-year-olds, Virat Kohli and Faf du Plessis have thrown themselves around. That catch that he took, the run out that Virat kind of tilted the kind of equilibrium towards RCB for a bit. So they did everything they could.
Yeah, those two were excellent, and you come to expect that. They've been doing it for many, many years. It's look, the RCB team would be disappointed because they wanted to get through, but I think Andy Flower and his management team will have found out a great deal about this group. So for next year, I'll make a statement, the RCB team will be very close, because I know the way that Andy Flower and his team operate. He'll have done his research on every single player in that squad. He'll know exactly now who he wants to keep, and he'll have an idea of exactly who they're going to try and get in the auction to build a team to play at their home venue. You know, they're not playing well enough. Over the course of all the IPLs, they've not had a DNA of knowing how to win at home. You have to win your home games. You're guaranteed pretty much 80% of those home games to be won. You win a few away from home, you always qualify for the last 4. And I think that's what Andy Flower will work on, is to make sure that he gets a team that knows exactly how to play on those pitches in Bengaluru. You know, Dinesh Karthik, is that the last time we'll see him playing in the IPL?
I don't know.
You never know with him, do you?
I don't, exactly. You never know with him. Plus, because of the way this time ended.
I hope he carries on.
Yeah.
He's looking great.
He's looking totally fit. And he could, I mean, Dhoni's playing, he's 4 years older, Dhoni's playing.
I hope he carries on. I mean, I know there's been whispers that he might.
The whispers, no, he said it out loud, that this will be my last year. He's pretty much said it out loud.
Well,
but the way he's played.
I'd advise him to play on. You know, if he's playing well enough, you're long time retired. There's another chair he can sit in a couple of years, it's fine. Yeah, but you look at Faf du Plessis, is that the last time we'll see Faf playing for RCB? Because how many's going to be retained? Who will be retained from all the different franchises? So it's a bit of a sad moment, because a lot of these players have been together for a long while, but that franchise to have never, ever won the IPL is absolutely staggering, with the amount of money that they've spent, the amount of batting power that they've had, but they've always been let down by the bowlers.
Well, they have been let down by the bowlers. They don't have those star bowlers. So maybe in the auction, we'll see them picking up some star bowlers. They did pick up 9 fast bowlers this time around. But again today, it was not a very big target, but the bowlers did what they could. They attempted to kind of get as close as they could. Mohammad Siraj clearly leading that pack there.
Yeah, I didn't mind the way Cam Green bowled as well. I think there was one over towards the end where he got hit a bit, but before that, I thought he bowled well. He's developing into the player that they thought they got when they played 16 crores for him. Because remember, that deal is not possible for the Mumbai Indians unless they got Cam Green off their books. And, the joke around was, or, the memes around were that 3 teams had been ruined by that trade, Mumbai, of course, because Hardik not working out. Gujarat missing Hardik, and of course Bengaluru because they've got a player who's not worth the money he's paid for. But I think, 16 crores is a lot of money. That's the most expensive player in the franchise. But I think he's value. He's a big guy. He's strong. He can bowl. In the next few years, he can give you 4 overs perhaps, and he can hit the ball. He can whack a cricket ball.
No, I absolutely agree with that. But Michael, do you think that those star bowlers who you're really afraid to play, like a Jasprit Bumrah, or what Yuzi and Ashwin were today, or what a Trent Boult brings to the table, do you think that is what the missing cog in RCB's wheel has been?
I just look at, you need high-class seamers, Trent Boult, Mitchell Starc, but more so, particularly in India, you need mystery spin. Look at KKR, they've got Chakravarti, they've got Narayan back to his best. You look at Yuvi, can bowl, obviously spinning the ball either way. You've got Ashwin, who's just he's a magician. He's a scientist, isn't he? Professor, he just kind of flicks it either way. RCB don't have that. They had Yuvi many years ago, but they decided to let him go, which was a huge kind of talking point at that time. I'd be amazed if Andy Flower's not eyeing up a mystery spinner or two to make sure that they've got some real quality. The spinners have done okay for them, but if you want to go on and win this tournament, it's hard to win. It's a tournament that's very, very difficult to win. But if you want to go on and win it, I think you need some really, really high-class spinners in your team.
Joyita, what do you think their major auction strategy is going to be, considering they have all the batting power, but their bowling has not been a star bowling?
Look, they'll anyway have to, a lot of that batting power is going to walk away after the auction. But I think they've got some really good rocks to develop on. I feel Rajat Patidar is a keeper. He's a kind of player who'll really do well for you, and he complements the top order batting, because you still find in India really openers who can go berserk. But the 3s and 4s who can give you really and hit spin really well, Rajat is a rare category. After Surya Kumar Yadav, there aren't too many. Sanju, Samson, Rajat Patidar. There are only 4-5 guys like that. So I think he's genuine quality. But yeah, in India, if without spinners, without good spinners, and I was just thinking about, when you were talking about it, I was thinking about the last 17 years of the IPL and saying, who's won it without good spinners? And I cannot, the closest, they've not had a great spinner, and I was thinking about it was probably 2016. Was it in 2016, was it Sunrisers? But then I thought that I think they had Rashid Khan. So I said, what am I thinking? So yeah, you look at it, you'll see very few teams have won without good spinners.
Well, for today, not only all Rajasthan fans, but Indian fans will be celebrating to see what Jaiswal did. I think it was overdue, and then his 45 in 30 balls is something that a lot of people will be celebrating. That shot that he got out, a little unnecessary, you think, but up until then did very well for Rajasthan.
Yeah, he played some glorious shots. He was dropped. I don't think he was at his best. He actually looked quite nervy. Him and Tom Kohli-Cadmore, I can understand Tom because he's hardly played. They both looked quite a bit tetchy in the first couple of overs, and then they started to hit a few boundaries. Yasif, he's a glorious player. he's a delight to watch, and whether he's playing for India, whether he's playing for you just know that he's going to bring 1 or 2 shots that you go, wow, those shots through the offside that he just pierced the fielder, an absolute delight. But I think he'll look back so far in the IPL and think, well, I'm yet to have that real moment. Yes. And he's now got 2 games, potentially. Friday you've got to get through and then a final. And players with that kind of stardust, I would say that he probably will have a say on Friday. He's found a little bit of form tonight, a little bit of rhythm, a bit more confidence, particularly for the group. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if he arrived in Chennai and just went bop, bop, bop.
It's correctly says it's because it's almost getting those few runs under your belt, and that confidence kind of will push you in to a big game. 600
runs last year.
Yes.
So, see, the other thing I was thinking about is you'll rarely see a Yashasvi innings where it's 8 fours and no 6s. So he didn't really take chances in that sense. He played a more mature game because he knew it was a big stage. But even without really trying to loft the ball too much, he still ended up at a strike rate of 150. And that you've got to give him credit. That if Yashasvi, and that's one of the things that batters like Yashasvi, if they're in the crease, they will not waste deliveries. You know, even in their off form, you'll end up at a strike rate of 140, 150. You know, that's a minimum. They'll give you that much. And a game like today, 150 is enough. Today, you know, when you're chasing 172, you don't need a 200 or a 180. 150 is good enough for you.
But for today, Rajasthan, not completely clinical, but they'd lost 4, that one game washed out. So 5 games where they didn't get any wins in, they'll take this win, the way it's come.
Just winning.
Yes.
Just get over the line. I mean, it's horrible when you're on a losing stretch because, as we saw towards the back end of that game, it's hard to win. You know, you kind of find ways of losing from winning positions when you've not been winning because you just have forgotten how to win. So they will be absolutely delighted. And when you think they're going to Chennai, and what does the pitch in Chennai do? Spin. And you've got Yuvi who's just bowled beautifully, and you've got Ashwin who's just bowled beautifully. You think, they've got to fancy their chances against the Sunrisers on Friday. Of course, you've still got to produce a performance, but you know, if you look at the Sunrisers spinners compared to the Rajasthan Royals spinners, I think it's chalk and cheese, really.
You can also go and look at, you know, option. Rovman Powell, instead of him, you can go for a Keshav Maharaj. Gives you another left-arm spin alternative. I mean, on a pitch like Chennai, they could just do something like that because it would derail, you know. This is a side, SRH likes space on the ball, likes the ball to come on. But, you know, they could. So he's right. You know, getting this win was important.
Yes.
This was not
However
a great...
it comes, they'll take it.
This was not a great win under any side. This was an ugly win, ugly, timid win.
Get
but
over
they got across the line.
Get over.
Yeah, it's like, put my hand, I just reached across.
And then you start thinking, do you remember the team song? It's been a while.
But having said that, someone who set the tone for them today was Trent Boult, and which is why he is our Omnigel Spray Performer of the Day. He ensured that there was no pain for the fans. 4 overs, 16 runs and 1 wicket. Michael, I remember chatting with you. There were 13 dots in those 2 overs that he bowled. 2 overs 6, I think, if it was.
3 overs for 6.
3 overs for 6.
3 overs for 6 in the power play.
So when you kind of bowl that way up front, you've pretty much set the tone for your team.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes you look at bowling figures and think, oh, yeah, OK, they bowled well, but who've they bowled to? Oh, I should be able to bowl well against those kind of players. But when they're up against Virat Kohli and Faf du Plessis,
yes,
who were on the back of playing great for 6 consecutive games, really, particularly in Virat's case, and you've only gone for 6 runs in the power play, while at the other end, the ball's going to all parts. We saw it from Mitchell's start last night with his left-arm brilliance, and once again, left arm, if you've got a real quality left armer, Boult, Stark and co, they are worth their weight in salt. And again, when you start looking at retentions, he'll be stamped in as the retained player, definitely.
Also because, like we spoke about how bowlers are going to be so important, considering how the game has shifted and become so batter-friendly, you will want someone like a Trent Boult in your team.
Absolutely, and Mumbai would be thinking that, considering the fact that Jofra Archer, they chased an unfit player who wouldn't play for them for a year and gave up this young gentleman out there.
Well, this young gentleman just knows what to do in that first over and puts that pressure on. He just puts that pressure onto the opponent.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the point. And then in this third over, he finally gets a wicket. He gets a breakthrough. I mean, Rovman Powell took a good catch, but that is just pure pressure. Pure pressure. I have to get off. I've got to hit him somewhere. Hit it straight up.
He hits it straight up, and Trent Boult has shown us why there's no pain for the fans, which is why he was our Omnigel Spray Performer of the Day. Rajasthan will be wanting him to come out and do this for them twice more, because he is a key pillar in their team, and they'll be wanting him to come out and do this for them twice more. We've got a little quote on what Faf had to say after the game and after the loss. He said that with so many losses, other teams might have fallen apart, but we did well to win 6 on the trot. The boys showed great character. We still feel a 15-20 run extra on that pitch would have been a fighting total.
No, look, you have to say the way they played the game for the last 6 matches, the way they came back. You're 1-7, you come back and you just claw your first victory, then you get a bit more momentum, and then every day somebody's putting up their hand. Virat Kohli so often, but then Will Jacks puts up his hand, Yash Dayal puts up his hand, Rajat Patidar puts up his hand, Cam Green scores runs for you, gets wickets for you. All of them come together. Faf finally finds form in the last match. So everybody somehow or the other is finding a way to put up their match. So I think it's been an incredible season in that sense. I mean, they have lengthened their season. They have lengthened the season. And if you say that, for all their faults, they have illuminated this back end of this year's tournament. This IPL has been illuminated by their run in the end. Because whatever else, everyone stopped, held their breath and said, what is RCB going to do next? And the fact, and when they set up that thing, Chennai, Kohli versus Dhoni, one of them will stay, one of them will go back home. It was absolutely incredible. So give them credit. They brought a lot of luster to this year's tournament.
I remember that when they had lost their 6 games, there was this WhatsApp message going around with what all has to happen for them to qualify. I think like 17 combinations.
So there was 17 matches, including theirs and other
others.
matches as well, of which they needed 14 to go in a particular way. That means half into half into half into half. And if you do the calculation there, the math is staggering. The odds that they covered to come here is ridiculous because everyone's looking at just their matches and saying they need to win all.
Correct.
No, they didn't need to win all. They needed to win all. Some other results had to go that way. And then only those things would have happened.
Well, they've taught us that cricket's a funny game and it's never over till it's over. And they've just taught us how exciting sport can be.
Yeah, they're great for the tournament. I know they haven't won it, but every year I arrive and I probably spend more time. Mumbai, I spend a lot of time talking about Mumbai, but RCB.
Yes.
I guess it's because of Virat and what he brings and that excitable kind of energy that he's always producing out in the middle. Their fans are very lively. They're all over social media. They pelt you at every opportunity. But they have to find a way of winning it. They have to. I mean, this is why the IPL is so great because there's always a leveller because the auction kind of evens it out. There's a salary cap, so you can't just go and spend a load more money if you've got more money than other teams. So that's why this tournament is great. And to think that they haven't won it, whoever wins it for them, you just seen what happened to the women's team that won the women's IPL. They went absolutely mad. There were street parties, and as there should be. But you can imagine what would happen. Whoever the coach is and the captain that wins the RCB, finally the IPL, well, they won't have to walk again. They will be able to do whatever they want to do.
They can dine on that story for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
I have one solution. You need to find a barber in Bengaluru. Find the Bengaluru Din Dayal. That's the secret. 5 times they've won. You find a barber in Bengaluru.
Yeah, Din Dayal's little...
It's all on your shoulder. If RCB has to win, it's your barber who's going to do it for them, Michael.
He did fancy Rajasthan. He did. Din Dayal the other morning. I asked him and he...
Look,
the barber
Din Dayal's...
All I said to him, he speaks Hindi and I don't speak great Hindi. So I break it down and say cricket and he thumbs up. I went IPL, thumbs up. And I said Rajasthan, RCB. And I went Rajasthan, he went... thumbs up. So he knows what he's talking about.
Get the man a number. He's already obviously a social media celebrity
because
people are
of
taking
what
videos.
But I would like to ask you, given the opportunity, would you like to go and coach RCB?
RCB, wow, yeah. I would say Andy Flower's a good coach. He'll get them absolutely better than this year, next year. I'll guarantee that. I just know his team behind the Operation Bobat. There's Richard Housel, there's Andy Flower. They're a very, very good collective kind of group of knowing how to get characters working and which characters to bring in. They'll get rid of 1 or 2 characters. I would say an Australian all-rounder, maybe.
We know who you're talking about.
Exactly.
An Australian all-rounder, not Cam Green. Who's
not Cam Green.
I just know that I know the way that they build teams, and I would say next year, watch out. They'll be better.
But somebody who's got almost the opposite energy of what Virat has on the ground is Sanju Samson. He just has a very calm energy about him, and he very calmly has equaled the great Shane Vaughan because he's now got 31 wins for Rajasthan as captain. So Sanju Samson clearly doing what Rajasthan want him to do.
No, I think absolutely. I think Sanju Samson's been a marvellous captain for them. I think the way he's played the game more than anything else, he's brought a certain amount of stability because they gave him the captaincy 3-4 years back. He was still young. But they and they rightly felt that they wanted a long run with him. He had all the potential. I think when you look for a captain, there are 2-3 things. You don't necessarily need to be this huge personality because everyone has a different style. Gautam Gambhir captained the team in a very different way from Virat Kohli, from a very different way from a Dhoni. All these are very different personalities. But what you do need is a certain amount of tactical intelligence and intellect. You cannot be a captain unless you know what it is. And I mean, who better than Michael Vaughan to tell us what it is? So obviously they saw that in him and they thought it could be developed. And I think I like the fact that they backed him for a while. But it's an interesting one because his captaincy style is a laid-back style. They've got results. The only question now is, is he the captain to take them to the next level? Because Shane Warne was also this personality. And that's something that Michael will perhaps have a better answer than I do.
Well, he's taken them to the next game, which is important, and he's got a great chance because I always say this. I think captains get too much praise sometimes, and myself included. It's all about bowlers. If you've got good bowlers, it makes you as a captain look very, very good because you set fields and your bowlers just deliver. You look at the bowling attack that Sanju's got in this year. He's got a tremendous bowling attack. He really has. But he manages them very, very well. He's very calm and calculated behind the stumps. You never see him flapping. You never see him waving his arms too much. He's just quietly moving his fielders around. He's clearly communicating who to bowl when and to which players very quietly behind the scenes. So I like the way he operates, but there's never, ever been a great captain without a good set of bowlers. If you can tell me one, I'll bow down and say, yeah, I agree with you. But you generally need a good set of bowlers, and then the captain always looks that little bit better.
Well, again, I have to talk about Virat because the season that he's had, just sensational what he's done for RCB. Virat 2.0, what we've spoken about. In this edition, he's got 741 runs there. We know that this is his second best season, but 741 runs with that strike rate and that average, it's staggering.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And not only that, to up that halfway through, and he was, 130, 140? The way he upped it, especially against spin. Everyone, the mantra was, and this is no secret, around dressing rooms, around, in all the bowler meetings around the country, that throw spin at Virat early. He will not get out, but he'll get bogged down.
Yes.
And that's something that they knew. Just throw left arm spin at him early. Just get to him. That's the way to control Virat. And he's not going to be able to win matches for you because he's too worried about getting off strike, getting the other. He's changed that.
Yes.
And the ability, every great player, the thing that you look at when you look at great players is how late in their careers also they developed, new weapons. And we were talking about the sweep today, the way he's playing spinners today, it's absolutely fantastic. So he's still redefining himself as a cricketer. And I think even as a fielder, he's probably a shade better than he was even 5 years back, because 5 years back he was a bit more careless. And now he's just so focused on the field, it's unbelievable. So there's so much to learn from that man. I mean, it's just not his batting, it's the way that he's constantly improving himself and pushing the boundaries.
Michael, he spoke about how every career is an end date and he doesn't want any regrets. So clearly he has that at the back of his mind and he is just giving it all. Today's run out and even the run out the other day when that clip that was moving around when he covered so much ground and almost slept and got a direct hit. So he's giving it his all with the bat and on the field.
He's a class act. His game is obviously up there with the greats of the game, but as Joy said, the way that he's gone up a gear, you think about all that he's achieved in his career, to suddenly go up a gear to, I guess, stay afloat in this modern era of T20 cricket, it's exactly what you need to do. But he's got the game and he's got the mindset and he's got that work ethic that he would have had to put in the nets to work on that sweep shot. I just love his energy in the field. I mean, he causes a bit of chaos now and again, and he gives it a bit of that to the camera and he winds the fans up and he puts his finger up to his mouth to shut them up now and again. But our sport needs those kind of characters. That's why we watch sport, is for those kind of individuals that get the crowd going, keep you on the edge of your feet. Bit of controversy every now and again. A brilliant season. And you you talk about retirement with Virat Kohli. I look at him and think he could play for. He's that fit. I mean, unless his mind goes and he's got obviously a young family now, and in 2 or 3 years' time everything changes and he just wants to go and spend some quiet time. I completely get that. You know, his time away from the England Test series, you know, I believe he went to London, had a normal life, and I've read a few of his comments and quotes, and he just absolutely adored that normal life, and I get that. So I think that'll be what sees Virat away from cricket. Like, he just wants to go and have a quiet time of it for a while. But he's certainly playing well enough, and he continues to play like that for India in the T20 World Cup. India are going to get off to some flying starts.
Well, Virat is a character who gives us so much happiness, and I don't think there are any cricket fans who want Virat to go anywhere for many, many years to come. There have been a lot of happy moments, a lot of sad moments, but there have also been a lot of cool moments. Yeah. So let's have a look at the carrier room air conditioner's coolest moment of the match. Quite a few today because with the eliminator, the heat is on, but we see a lot of cool moments. Joyda, for you.
For me, the cool moment, I think I have to go back to, you know, what is at the very start. The whole tone of this match was set by those 3 overs from Trent Boult. Absolutely high-class bowling. You're bowling to Virat Kohli, Faf to Plessis, 2 destructive batters, and you get 6 and a wicket in first 3 overs. That sets the tone for the entire match. Incredible. To think he gave 6 and the team at the end of 6 overs was 50.
Yes.
Tells you exactly how well he bowled from one end. It's incredible. He's easily my coolest moment, those 3 overs from him.
And he does it so coolly as well. Just no effort. It feels like there's no effort coming from him, does it? For you, Michael.
Well, cool. Virat Kohli just running around the outfield, just flicking it into his hand and just launching a ball. I don't know how many metres it was, let's say 70 metres. One bounce, which Kohli just bounced straight into. It didn't actually go straight into his hands. It was kind of in his wrists. And he just managed to flick the bails off Cameron Green. But yeah, how old is Virat? 36 years of age, and I think you described him as was it Rovman Powell you described as a tiger?
Yeah.
Well, I reckon Virat matched him. Wow. Virat matched him in the second innings with a sprint in the hands and an electrically cool throw straight over the top of the stumps. Brilliant.
I think I'm going to go with Michael. I agree with him. But let's have a look at the tweets that you'll have sent in and what your cool moments for the day have been. Mubassir writes in saying Boult's sensational 3-over spell in the power play and trusted by the spinner skipper. He delivers big time, snatching Faf's wicket and conceding a mere 6 runs in the spell, giving Rajasthan the crucial early edge. Exactly what Joyda said. Next up, let's see who we've got. Maestro Manohar says figures...
He's been there before as well.
Yes, he has. So has Mubassir. Maestro Manohar says figures of 2 for 19 on a pitch with hardly any assistance. Ashwin's world-class spell is certainly one of the carrier coolest moment. All right, next up. Swapna Shri says Parag's clutch knock under pressure has repaid all the faith Rajasthan have placed on him. It's her carrier coolest moment. We spoke about Parag's knock, but like she says, very important, very crucial, and knock not only today, but we've seen what he's done all season long.
Absolutely. He could end up having a 600-run season. He's close to 550 now. And I think he and Sanju has been the reason this team has stayed in the game, has stayed so long. Because remember, they've played a lot of matches without, I think, May 4th was the last time Hetmyer played. So they've played a long time without Hetmyer. Jurel has been off form. So much, and their top order, I mean, they've played well in the start, but then they tailed off. So 3 and 4 has really carried Rajasthan for a long, long time. And now if Jaiswal starts contributing again, Hetmyer is back again. You know, they have actually taken, Samson and Parag have taken them to this position. And they've got to turn around and tell the other guys now, guys, the bowlers have done their job, but batters, the 2 of us are doing a job, we need a bit more help.
Yes.
And if the others rally around, I think this is going to be a very good match.
But do you see him getting retained next year, considering they have Yashasvi, they have Yuzi, and they have Sanju Samson?
Yeah. I mean, he's 21 years of age. I'd be building my team around the likes of Yashasvi, Riyan Parag. I just think you'd want to keep your young players. You know, it's a 3-year cycle for the next auction, is that right? So any player that gets near on 600 runs, I'd be wanting for the next year, and particularly the way that he played, and tonight under pressure. I thought it was one of his early, I think it was his first ball, he flicked for 4 through mid-wicket, and then he hit a 6 just at the right time.
Yes.
Over mid-wicket, just after Virat's run out, and it just kind of, oh, hello, he's got a little bit of something about him. So, yeah, playing those kind of knocks under that amount of pressure, he'd like to have seen the game home, but he made a real contribution tonight under the gas. So, yeah, I'd be wanting. It depends on how many people you
Yes.
can retain. If it's 4, it could be touch and go, but I still would want to keep the core of the youngsters that you've got in your side.
All right, these were our Carrier Coolest moments, Carrier Room Air Conditioner's coolest moment of the match. Thank you so much for writing in. It's always nice to see what you'll write in, and we had very interesting ones coming in today, so thank you so much. We'll now quickly have a look at the road to the big playoffs and what we are seeing. Next up, of course, Hyderabad take on Rajasthan. Qualifier 2 at Chennai, and the winner of this game goes on to playing KKR.
Big game. I think it's a big game, and I think it's an interesting game because I think they're very different. One has just got across the line, the other has been thoroughly smashed in their last match, and it'll be interesting how these two teams look at it and how they recover, how one recovers, how the other says that, okay, let me get some momentum going. Now it's allowed, apparently. And no, we are allowed.
I didn't know the rules have
no,
changed.
rules are, you know Gaurav Kapoor, he changes the rules all the time. So
Gaurav
fortress
Kapoor
is
makes all
allowed,
the
momentum
rules.
is allowed. By the way, he's changed the rules.
Changing the prediction game rules.
Yeah,
as
he's
well.
changing
That's what
those rules
he's
as well because, everyone told him that what if Dinesh Karthik comes in the last day and plays one match and wins both sides?
We'll get to those rules because this is something which is very important on Cricbuzz Live. But let's now talk about the next big game, which is happening on the 24th. Hyderabad take on Rajasthan at the Chepauk. Both these teams will be flying to Delhi. Hyderabad, of course, coming out of that loss against KKR, which was pretty one-sided. And Rajasthan coming from this win, which was not clinical, but they'll take the win. So both these teams coming in, but Hyderabad, of course, we'll talk about them first. Their batting, which has just been firing all through the season. The other day against KKR, Rahul Tripathi took them through. But Klaasen, Head, they've been kind of really leading this for them. There is Abhishek Sharma, who's been doing very well for them. What can we expect from Hyderabad?
So 2-3 things. I mean, the one thing that I was thinking about is that they've gone with Vijaykanth, Vyaskanth now, and I think now if they look at it, they'll probably tell themselves they need another middle-order batter. I'd be very tempted to get somebody like Aiden Markram back and say, get a Markram back, and instead of Vijaykanth, Vyaskanth, who hasn't really set the grounds on fire, I'd say for a pitch like that, where the ball holds a bit, it's not the fastest of pitches, somebody like a Jaydev Unadkat is a very decent bowler under those conditions. So what I'd definitely be looking at is saying that I really feel, because the moment you're in, that middle order that you have is comparatively inexperienced.
Yes.
So they tend to do well when Head and has set it up well with Abhishek Sharma. But if Head, Abhishek Sharma and Klaasen go, then Nitish Reddy, Samad, Shahbaz, they're all inexperienced relatives. So one good, solid international batter there will sort of, as they say, stiffen the spine.
Yes.
And I'd like to see that Markram can bowl as well. He gives you 2-3 overs. Okay, you get in a Jaydev Unadkat, and I think it balances itself again. So that's what I would be looking at. And they would have to say that, okay, they've never won. They've won only one game ever at the Chepauk. They have to say that we're going to play this game for these conditions.
But considering it's such a big game and getting Markram back in, he wasn't in the best of form, then he's been rested. He has a lot of experience under his belt, but it's a very big game to get these changes in.
Yeah, I like it though, because he might just offer you a couple of overs. I do think that the bowling attack's not great, and I don't see it getting any worse by just manoeuvring a piece or two. I just think the way that the Sunrisers can win is by getting a big score, getting a big total. And I actually look at Travis Head and think, what's he going to face on Friday? He's going to face another left arm in Trent Boult. The last 2 times he's faced left armers, he's gone 0-0, castled. Now that first over, he knows exactly what's going to happen.
Yes.
Do they change it up? Does Abhishek take the first ball? Rather than Travis Head going down to face the music, and it's not running away from the danger, it's being sensible that he's just been knocked over by a quality left armer in the last 2 games. Can you just hide him away from Trent in the first over and just give him a little bit of a leeway? Again, the modern player doesn't like to say anything like this because it sounds negative, but for me that'd be quite smart. To give just Travis, just have a look. Because you never know the first couple of balls if it's going to swing or isn't it. You just never know. A bowler generally bowls just a length ball just to see. just to see what, and it's usually this far outside off stump.
Yes.
Because obviously, if it swings, you get away with not being a wide. If it doesn't, it just goes onto the keeper in that nice straight line. Why not let Abhishek face the first couple of balls?
Have you done that for England? Have you ever done that for England?
Absolutely, yeah.
And we know who did it for the Great World Cup game as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Master and Virendra Sehwag did that as well.
Yeah, they swapped over.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, exactly. There is a very fine line between what we call courage and foolhardiness. If you have an opportunity to see from the other end 2-3 balls and see how much the ball is doing, why not?
Yes.
Particularly on the back of 0-0.
But, we spoke about how bowlers are winning tournaments, and for Rajasthan, we know what Ashwin and Yuzi can do. So the spin department in Chennai with Ash and Yuzi, do you think they have that advantage over Hyderabad there?
I think they do. And there's a genuine chance that they could, though Rovman Powell has played well for them today, they would be tempted to look at Keshav Maharaj and say, let me throw a third spinner in. You get 12 overs of spin and...
The other way is maybe not to open with Tom Kohli-Cadmore and replace
Dhruv Jurel.
Kohli-Cadmore.
You could put Jurel up front
and
get
that
Keshav.
leaves... Yes. Rovman's just got him over the line.
Yeah, and he's fielded like a...
Yeah, so you think...
he is the captain of West Indies. Why don't they show more faith?
Yeah, if they want Maharaj in, it might be that they have to just rejig that batting lineup.
Yeah, that's not a bad call at all.
So but give Dhruv Jurel the responsibility to go back up in the big game.
If it's going to be a spinning track,
yes,
Maharaj is a quality bowler, but my gut feeling is that they go the same again. They've won tonight, they'll get there and they'll feel that they've got enough combinations to be able to cover, even if it is a turning wicket. I just think they've played smart tonight and they've got the job done, and I think they'll go there on Friday. And in the back of their mind, unless it's a real dust bowl, I would think they'll probably go with the same team again.
Yeah, because dust bowl finger spinners just have more control. It'd be very useful.
All right, so your players to watch out for on the big day then?
I'm going to go Henrik Klaasen because I feel that he's vital. The battle of Henrik Klaasen versus
the spinners,
Chahal and Ashwin is, I think, crucial to the game from this side. And on the other side, I really feel that somebody up front has to give them runs. And I think, again, Yashasvi Jaiswal's my man.
You picked him yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, I picked him yesterday, yeah.
I'm going to go Travis Head. He's all or nothing. And he's going to come out swinging. So I think he can't go 0-0-0. So I think he'll get off to a flyer. And I'm going to go Ashwin. On the pitch that suits him. He's obviously used to playing there. I'm going to go for the professor.
The scientist then, all right. That's the big game happening day after tomorrow. We saw what today's big game gave us, and we know there'll be lots of entertainment day after tomorrow. I've been told that Dinesh Karthik has taken his cap off and he's kind of waving around to the crowd. Is that a signing off sign? And then he's walked off with the cap in one hand.
It's a sign tonight. Maybe he'll have a couple of good nights sleep and think about it, because he's just, when a player is that fit and that ready, it's a great thing to tell yourself you've played 20 years of international cricket, you deserve. But I can tell you, after sitting 6 months at home, how many players have thought, I was fit enough to come back.
To play a little more, yes.
And there are many players who've wanted to come back.
And he's one of those players who doesn't need the impact rule. Like, we are seeing so many of the impact players come in. He's fit
super
enough.
fit. He's naturally fit.
Yeah. And that 80, which was for a losing cause.
85 of 35.
But that changed now you say momentum's allowed. That changed the momentum for RCB, didn't it?
Yeah, and not only that, it made sure that run rate was under control.
DK coming back, what do you think?
I think by the sounds of it, he wants to come and sit with us. I think he's missing the wasabi prawns, the risotto.
I think it's a wasabi prawn. It is the wasabi prawn.
All right,
there's something here that he likes, that he wants to come and join and be more of a regular.
We love him here, and we'll provide him wasabi prawns if he's playing as well. We love DK here, but we also love him on the field. So we'll find out when DK does join us, whenever that is. We now go to the rules that have been changed by Gaurav Kapoor. I'm told the guessing game, when he wins, he doesn't change the rules. But when he doesn't win, he goes and changes rules, I'm told.
I'm crawling. No rules changed yet. I'm crawling.
Have you moved at all, Joyda?
I've moved. Sehwag was ahead of me. I've caught up with him and I've got a bullseye. So I'm just a bit ahead of him. But Saiyami, you and me have bullseyes. That's something.
Yeah, that's what matters. I think that's the final rule. That's what was decided, wasn't it? The ones with the bullseye on top wins. Well, that was the rule.
But I'll tell you, Manoj is hot on your heels would be an understatement.
I don't know. Maybe it's the strategy of not coming in that might get me past him. I never know. Never know at all. Michael, do you have the answer to his question? Did you think about it?
About the rules?
No, the joy factor.
The joy factor. I didn't quite understand it.
Okay, I'll just put it in April 2019. Which cricketer broke a record originally set in a match between two teams no longer in this league? So two teams who were playing in 2017 who no longer are a part of it. They basically are the Pune Super Giants and the Gujarat Giants. Both of them do not exist now. So what happened is in the game between those two, and obviously in 2 years there's only been 4 encounters, Andrew Tye got the best record on debut, which was 5 for 17. And that was broken, of course, by Alzari Joseph, 6 for 12, absolutely spectacular. Boult for Mumbai, spectacularly, took 6 for 12 on debut. And that's a record. Okay. And that actually is not just a record for being on debut, it's a best bowling analysis in the tournament so far.
Well, we both definitely didn't have the answer, as you can see, but let's have a look at who got the answer.
They got this as well. Oh God, they did. Sharat Sethi 1819. Well done. This was because this wasn't that easy. You know, you've got to think your way through it. You have to think
your way. I thought it was easy to decipher, but clearly I was very wrong. But Sharat wasn't wrong. Well done on winning the joy factor. It's... do you want to give any thumbs up today?
I will give both thumbs up. There you are. Both thumbs up.
Wow, both thumbs up and a smile. Well, today was a day where Rajasthan has gone back smiling. RCB has gone back with a broken heart.
Yeah, I just want to tell you one thing about this, 6 wins in a row. Kolkata in 2014 won 9 in a row to win the tournament. So, from 2 and 5, they came and won 9 in a row. So I just wanted to... It is one of the great moments in sport, but perhaps it's been done before. That's all. I just want to put it out there.
Mr. Joy Bhattacharya has spoken about what KKR has done. He couldn't let it go. The beginning of the pre-match show, I spoke about how you don't have the knots because KKR is sitting there. I told you all, he's sitting there with his legs up, with no stress at all because of what KKR has done this season as well. But all the credit to RCB for what they've done. It's very tough to win 6 games on the trot.
It is extremely tough.
Yeah, so they have been doing this, and we have to salute and do what they've done. So I think RCB should be proud of themselves. RCB fans should be proud of what RCB has done because they've made this game, this season so entertaining. We will be waiting for RCB to come back next year. Michael Vaughan told us, watch out for them next year because of what Andy Flower has said. So well done, RCB. And Rajasthan Royals, well, 2 games to go. So don't celebrate too much. They all have an important game day after tomorrow, so they'll go back, get their rest in because they play day after tomorrow.
Fly tomorrow?
They fly tomorrow, but Michael, you fly soon as well.
Fly in a few hours, yes. So we better be quick.
You better be quick, and we're not going to have Michael for the finals. So
I'm here for the World Cup, so I'm coming back for the World Cup.
Please come back for the World Cup and find that barber in Bengaluru. The barber of Bengaluru, that's the story of your life.
That's the story for next season.
I'll have a Google search to see if I can find one.
But Michael, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For making this so much fun. Joyda, I'll be seeing you very soon. We're not letting you go anywhere. No flights for you. So I'll be seeing you very soon. And thank you so much, everyone who watched. It was a very entertaining day. We're going to have an even more entertaining day after tomorrow. So don't forget to join us at 7 p.m. That's all for now.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
Hyderabad Bhattacharjya Express, Boroboti Station, Netaji Bhavan.